So, like I said, I will talk today about the forms for websites. Oh, it's working. My name is Martin. I work with Dream Focus company. I'm a founder and owner of this company. I work web design and code. After coding, I like water, wind, like windsurfing. So if you have a time after my presentation, I will show you some short film with windsurfing. Okay. If you would like to contact with me after presentation, you can use the form under this link. Okay? So it's a form, practical example of the form. I'm first time in Brno, in WordCamp Brno, so I hope it will be a very good experience for you and for me. My presentation has two parts. The first part is it will be some basics. I will talk about sending methods of form attributes, form fields attributes, sending file via the form. This is quite important subject. And data validation, form security, and to how to send the form. In the second part, we grab all this knowledge and make a very short example and how to code form, very simple form with security in WordPress theme. Okay? So, let's get started. Okay? We start the part one. When we search in internet, going to website, we see that almost every page has some kind of forms. And for example, we have a contact form, user registration form, placing order form, search engines. When we adding, deleting data from our database, mostly we use the forms. When we adding comments, make some financial transaction. Okay? And how the form looks like. It's a simple view of very simple form in the front end. So user see some input fields, text area, checkbox, and sending button. But in the other side, from the backend side, we see some code. And our form is defined in form syntax with some attributes like action, methods, some classes for CSS. And inside this form, we have some input labels, button, and something else. So it's quite simple. And when we would like to send the simple form, we can use two methods to send the form. First method is a method get. The method get is used when we have only a few parameters and we pass these parameters using the URL. And this is example of this URL. And this method can also be used when we passing parameters via the link. So when I search something in Google and I would like to send this result for my friend. So we use this method. But it should be also remembered that those parameters are visible in the browser address bar. So it's not saved, for example, in login form. Okay? The second method is a method post. In method post, we use as headers to pass the parameters. And this method allows us to pass many more parameters that the method get. And these parameters cannot be seen in the browser bar. So it's safe to create a login form or something else. Depending on those two methods, the data from our forms goes to super global arrays, get or post, depends on method. Okay? And now, the rest of attributes, because forms has a lot of attributes. The rest of these attributes is in very short list, and I do this quickly because I think it may be boring for you, okay? Char accept is character encoding for submission form. Action, put the URL to form submission. Autocomplete is obviously. And type. This is quite important. I will talk about this in a few minutes. When we would like to send some files using our form, we should define these attributes. Okay? I will show you how to do this. The methods, I will talk about this method in last slide. Names is obviously validate. We can set the validate attributes to our form or no validates, target and real. Okay. And the next step is every form has some fields. Forms don't exist without fields, okay? So we have input fields with a lot of types. The text types is for entering a short text. Checkbox and radio is a single or multiple choice field. File, email, URL, number, date. The name call for itself. And the hidden type is for passing some parameters to our backend, some for validation. We have also submit, reset, and images. It's a type of button for sending or deleting our form. We have also date time, local time, monthly, week, phone, search, password, and etc. We can define the range of numbers in our fields. We have text area to enter a long text and select multiple fields or a single choice list. Okay, so I told the form has attributes, and every field has attributes too. And we can use these attributes, but important is that not all attributes works for all kind of fields. Okay, this is quite important. For example, placeholder. It's a temporary text for the field, but this placeholder, this attributes works only for type like text, search, URL, email, and phone. Autocomplete, we can switch on or switch off this attribute in our field. Autofocus. This attribute is mostly used when we create search page and autofocus our search input. Min length and max length is specify the number of characters the user can enter. In our fields, checked is a field selected by default. It works only for radio and checkbox. Multiple, it's set more than one value in our input. It works only for file and for email and tab index. Of course, we have more than this. The name, the pattern, read only, required, height, width, source, and value. It's a, I think, simple list of these attributes. We can make some options with using a data list arguments to create some hints or tips for our users. We can group our fields in some, I don't know, maybe some better user experience, I think is. If you would like some more information about the attributes of forms and elements in these forms, you can visit this link to more deeper and deeper. Okay. We have also one more type of fields. It's a button. It's very similar to input, but has only 3 types. Those types are button, submit, and reset. The attributes is quite similar to input. So I list only this, and you may check it's okay. Okay. The next thing, and I think it's important. When we would like send some files using our form, we should use, of course, input tile called file. We can set the attributes multiple to selecting file from our disk. We can define some pattern which type of file we would like to accept. For example, in the first line, we accept only images, PNG, to grab our form. Why this important? If someone from you has hacked your site, anyone? No. Do you know any hackers or broken site? Yeah. And the forms is a gate, one of many gates for hackers. If we allowed hackers to put the file with bad code through our form in our server, we may have problems. Okay? So when we design and think about forms, we have to think about security. how to do the form in good way, but in a security way. And if we only put this field in our form and click the send button, this form doesn't work. Okay? Why? Because one thing has to be changed. Default in our form attributes, ends type is set like this. And this not allowed us to send any file via the form. It's in WordPress, it's in HTML, everywhere. So we should set this to multi-part form data. This one attribute in the form attributes. So we set the file field, we set the ends type, and one more thing, because this is allowed to send any file. But when we send the file, we use next super global array called files, and in this array we stolen some information about the file, like name, type, size, temporary name, or some error. We can use this information to validate our form and our file. And very short example how to do this. For example, we think that our user can put the file, but the max size of this file can be like this constant, max size, okay? So, in our backend, we check the size of our file, and we compare with this max size, and if it's higher, then we show the error message for our user. If it's okay, so we allows the user to make some other validation and sending methods with our file. So it's very, very important that we should always check everything at the backend, not in the frontend, okay? Frontend is okay, but frontend don't give us a security. Okay, so we start about the validation, file validation. We can validate the form in the frontend. We can validate the form using JavaScript. We can validate frontend using some HTML attributes like require, pattern. In this example, we define the zip code for this field. We can use this both attributes to verify one field, but it's important that the pattern works only for this type of fields. And of course, we can use the validation in JS, but it's all is in a frontend, so in a browser, in a user browser. And user always can switch off JavaScript, okay? And our validation stops working, so the form is not secure. On the other hand, user in our Google Chrome DevTools can switch off our form validation to put these attributes, and our form is not validated. So it's open for everything. That's why I said this one more time and one more time. The best way of validation is a backend. And in PHP, we have a function like filter var or filter default to do this. In WordPress, we have a lot of functions to grab the data, validate security data. List of this function you can find under this link. Okay. Okay. So the next step is the security the form, but against the spam, only the spam. Okay. Our validation is okay. Sanitization, when we grab the data from our form and put the database, is quite important. For security, we can use a lot of methods. The most known method is reCAPTCHA, PHP CAPTCHA, math CAPTCHA, or honeypot. We can use one of this method, but this method protects mostly for spam. Okay, but in WordPress we have one more thing. Okay. For protection, not only against the spam, but for protection against attacks CSRF and XSRF, mostly when the robots attack our website. Yeah. We have WordPress nonce. It's a number use one. It's a very good mechanism when we this mechanism gives us one number, generate one number every 24 hours. We can change the timeout of this number, for example, to 12 hours. And we put this information in our form. So when we sending our form, we give this number inside the form. And in the backend, before send this form, we check if this number is okay. So we send the form. If not, we don't send this form. And how it works? You see, it's very simple, I think so. Maybe, who is a developer on this site? Okay, so you know this. Okay. We can use WordPress function called WP nonce field. This is a function with 4 optional attributes. It's recommended to use this attribute, but it's optional. And how it works? When we code our form and we put this line of code in our form, so this function generates in our frontend 2 hidden input fields with some ID, names, and the value. This value will change. So when we generate this value, the next step is to validate this on our backend. So before we send our form, we use check if the nonce field exists on our form and verify if this nonce number is correct. If yes, we can proceed our validation, sanitization, and sending data. If not, we send some error. Okay. Okay, and the last thing I think in this part, form sending. In PHP, we have a mail function. We can combine this with Ajax, and of course, we can use some ready scripts like PHP mailer. In the WordPress, we have lots of plugins, but today we don't talk about the plugins. We have a dedicated function to do this. This function is called WP mail, and we can use this with Ajax too. Okay? So, this is the end of part time. So, we have some basics. I will talk about sending methods, form attributes, form fields, fields attributes, sending file, data validation, form security, and sending. And now we take this knowledge to prepare a practical example. Very simple view how to use this in our WordPress team. Because not every time we should use a plugin. Okay? Okay, we can do in the 4 steps. First step, we create a HTML markup. Second, we create a page template for this form. In third step, we send our form using Ajax and protect by WP nonce and maybe some honeypot. And in the last step, we have solution. We do our solution so more flexibility. So we create a shortcut. So use our form in every page on our website. Okay? Okay, and the first and second step, it looks like this. So we create a page template, okay, with some header, footer, and inside this, I put the simple markup of form with methods and fields. The first step is to sending our form. For do this, I use 2 contains in WordPress scripts. I use jQuery for call Ajax and jQuery for to interaction with our data. And we do this in another 4 step. First step, we enqueue the scripts to our WordPress team all of this code is in function PHP. So we enqueue the script like jQuery form, because this is inside WordPress, so we can use it like this. I enqueue my script with jQuery. I use the WP localized scripts to pass PHP variables to JavaScript, and make some action. It's working. Okay. And the next and the last steps is to use toAction to send our form. Both of action, the name of this action, starts the name from WP Ajax something. And second one is WP Ajax no priv something. It's very important that this name should start from this. And why we use those two actions, not only one? Because one action is for logged user and another action is for not logged user. And we would like that our form works for both type of user. Okay? And the second parameter is the name of function. And on the bottom, we create the function. And in this function, we grab our data from our superglobal arrays, for example, post. We make some sanitization, validation. We use WP nonce to check. We use honeypot to protect against the spam. And it's everything okay. We send the form. Okay? So you see, it's quite easy. And the last step, because when we have a page template, it works only this page template. And when we would like to have, put, for example, shortcut in every page or post, we can use shortcut. And how we can do this? We add shortcut, like in this example. Inside this shortcut, we put our HTML markup and PHP function connected with grabbing data, validation, sanitization, sending, and everything is in the last part. Okay? And on the end, good practice, of course, it's a good practice in my opinion. So I share only my opinion. When we create our form, we should validate HTML in the front end. It's not safety for 100%, but we should do this. Okay? We have to, and it must be validation on the backend. We remember when you use the WordPress to use WP nonce and other methods to protection our form against the spam and other methods of attack. We remember about the Ajax, and shortcut give flexibility in the placing the form in the content of our page. Okay. Thank you. If you like this presentation, you can find this under this link. And I have one more thing, okay? Because I'm here on WordCamp. So, okay, we in Poland, in next month, has a WordCamp too. So, if you would like to visit us, I invite you, okay? This is a web page of organizer of our WordCamp. Yeah. Thank you very much. Do you have any question, maybe? No. Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I like a question like 3 faults or 5 faults or something like that. So what is biggest fault of developers with the relationship with forms? One fault, one biggest fault. What is one biggest fault?
Biggest fault?
Yeah. During the develop of forms.
Wow. Maybe I talk this way. Who knows the plugin like Contact Form 7? Okay. Who uses this plugin? Lots of people, okay? It's a very good plugin, yeah? But this plugin has some problems. You know about this? When WordPress starts, open the REST API. 1 year or 2 years ago, yeah. The plugin Contact Form 7 start using the REST API. But some people, when would like to protect our website against some error in API, because API is brand new, switch off the REST API. And the Contact Form 7 and the rest of plugins using REST API stop working. It's most known things in our internet about this. Yeah.
And what's your favorite plugin?
My favorite plugin.
It's a silly question, I know, but it could help for some.
Okay, sometimes I use Contact Form 7, yeah. But when I create a theme, because mostly I create a theme for WordPress, I code my plugin. But my favorite plugin right now it's ACF. Okay, I use this to build everything.
Somebody know the ACF? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would like to see some film? Or have more question? Or we finish? Okay, some more question? Yeah.
So, thank you, Marcin, for
Okay.
perfect speech.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
we will see you again, I
Yeah.
hope.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.